Welcome everyone to this deep dive. We're looking at optimizing commercial real estate CRE for profit, specifically through innovation today.
Right. And you've shared a really interesting set of articles, haven't you? From LinkedIn, Brigade Group, Modus Space.
Readability, Starleaf too. Yeah, a good cross-section all looking at this critical topic.
Absolutely. And what's interesting, I think, across all of them isn't just the tech buzzwords. It feels like a deeper shift.
A shift away from just, collecting rent.
Exactly. So our mission really is to pull out the practical strategies, maybe some surprising facts, on how innovation can genuinely lift profitability without just relying on rent increases.
Okay, yeah, let's dig into that. Because, for ages, CRE felt pretty straightforward, didn't it? Buy, lease, manage.
Just standard playbook.
But these sources, they all show the game's changing, remote work, different business needs. You can't just stick to the old ways.
That's such a key point. It's a much more fluid environment now. Tenants want more than just square footage. They're looking for, well, an experience, an ecosystem.
So property owners need to be more proactive, more imaginative.
Definitely. And what's striking is how these different sources kind of converge on three main areas.
Okay.
Smart tech for efficiency, using data properly for decisions, and then really creative ways to actually use the space itself.
Right. Let's make that real for a listener. Say you own an office building, used to be fully leased, maybe even a waiting list. But now, with remote work, you've got vacancies creeping up.
A common scenario, unfortunately.
So the big question is, how can these innovations help? Not just fill desks, but maybe fundamentally rethink the building's value.
Exactly. It's about working smarter, not just, harder, chasing the same old tenants.
Okay.
Several sources really hit this point: strategic reinvention, unlocking potential that's already there, just maybe hidden.
So it's not just about buying the latest gadget.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
The deeper rethink. How does the property serve people now?
Got it. So here's something practical someone could do right now based on that thinking. Walk your property, but with fresh eyes. Actively hunt for those underused spaces.
The dead corners, the big empty lobbies.
Yeah. And ask, what else could this be? Could it make money? Could it improve things for current tenants? What could that awkward little office be used for besides an office?
That's a great starting point. Identifying those pockets of, well, unrealized value. Which leads us nicely into the first big strategy: smart space management.
So, smart space management sounds a bit jargony maybe, but reading the articles, it feels like it's really about making the most of the space you already have.
Precisely. Making it work harder, maybe appealing to more types of tenants, or even finding ways to get income from areas that were just, well, empty space before.
So what are the maybe less obvious benefits here, or challenges?
Well, beyond just cramming more desks in, it's about creating better experiences.
Yeah.
The sources talk about things like reconfiguring layouts.
Moving walls,
Yeah.
adding dividers.
Yeah, maybe using modular walls for flexible meeting room.
Okay.
Or identifying those forgotten areas. Think about, say, a dusty old storage room.
Okay.
Could that become secure bike storage? Maybe with a little repair station.
Yeah.
That's a huge amenity in some cities now.
Ah, right. Finding those hidden assets. And flexible furniture comes up a lot too.
Adaptable workstations instead of fixed desks.
Mhm.
Stuff you can easily rearrange for different teams or projects.
Have you seen good examples of that working?
Yeah. One article mentioned an owner in, I think it was Austin. They swapped out old cubicles for a mix: standing desks, collaborative tables, some comfy lounge spots.
Okay.
It made the whole place feel more dynamic. And suddenly it appealed to more types of businesses, It's about offering choice.
That makes sense. A simple change, big impact. Okay, next big theme, data-driven decisions. Data can sound intimidating, though.
It can, yeah.
Yeah.
But really, it's just information to help you make smarter choices about your property.
What kind of data are we talking about? Beyond the obvious, like energy bills.
Well, energy and maintenance requests are key, obviously. But think about Wi-Fi usage.
Wi-Fi. How so?
Are there peak times where it slows down? That tells you maybe you need an upgrade, which boosts tenant satisfaction. Or look at access control data. Who's using what parts of the building and when?
Ah, okay. So that could help with things like deciding when to run the air conditioning or when the cleaners need to focus on certain areas.
Exactly. Optimizing efficiency. Tenant feedback is another big one mentioned.
Right. But how do you get meaningful feedback, not just ticking boxes on a survey?
Good question. Instead of generic surveys, maybe ask targeted questions. Like after you put in that bike storage, ask specifically how usable it is. Short, Frequent pulse surveys can work better than long annual ones. And honestly, just talking to tenants informally, you learn a lot that way.
Yeah, those quick chats can be gold. I remember one piece mentioned an owner using building access data
Okay.
to spot that parking spaces were empty at certain times, so they partnered with a car sharing service.
Ah, clever. Renting out the unused spots.
Yeah, new revenue from existing infrastructure just by looking at the patterns.
That's it, exactly. Seeing resources differently through data.
Okay, let's talk tech,
Mhm.
because obviously that's massive in CRE innovation. But there's so much tech out there. What actually moves the needle on profit and efficiency without needing a, complete building refit?
Yeah, you need to focus on practical stuff that solves real problems. Smart thermostats, smart lighting, they come up again and again. Relatively easy wins for cutting energy costs.
Right, low-hanging fruit.
Definitely. And cloud-based property management platforms. They streamline so much leases, rent, repairs, frees up your time, reduces mistakes,
Makes sense.
and things like high-quality virtual tours. They really expand your reach for prospective tenants, save everyone time and travel.
I saw an example, I think, on LinkedIn about a manager using a cloud system for maintenance requests. Tenants could just upload a photo, track the progress online, made things faster, tenants were happier. Seems like a win-win.
Totally. Better communication, transparency. That helps keep tenants happy, which means they stay longer. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Creative leasing and using space differently.
So thinking beyond the standard 5-year lease.
Yeah, the articles talk about short-term leases, maybe for pop-up shops or seasonal businesses.
Okay, that gives flexibility, but are there downsides? More admin, maybe?
There can be, yes. You need really clear, streamlined processes for tenants coming and going, clear rules on utilities, maintenance, what they can and can't do.
Right. Gotta manage expectations.
But the upside is activating vacant space and maybe attracting totally new visitors to the property.
And the idea of shared workspaces or even selling day passes, that seems really relevant now with hybrid work.
Very relevant. If you add that kind of space, the key is building a bit of a community. It's not just desks.
Needs good Wi-Fi, common areas.
Exactly. Shared amenities, maybe some networking events. Make it a place people want to come to.
I also saw mention of using VR virtual reality for leasing spaces before they're even built. That sounds futuristic, but kind of cool.
It is cool. And there are other tech enhancements too,
Mhm.
like interactive floor plans on your website. Let people drag and drop furniture virtually.
Oh, wow.
AI chatbots to answer basic questions 24/7. Using analytics to figure out who your best tenant prospects are.
It ties back to that data thing again. There was even that neat example of a building letting artists use empty storefronts short term.
Yes. As temporary studios or galleries?
Filled the space, but also made the whole area more interesting, drew people in. That's thinking differently.
It's a perfect example. Creative use benefiting everyone.
So a practical step for listeners here, maybe pick one tech tool we've talked about.
Right.
Like, say, a smart lock for one office suite. Or maybe try a free trial of a property management app. Just test it for a month, see if it saves time or money, or if tenants like it.
That's a good manageable approach.
Yeah.
Start small, see what happens.
Okay, to really hammer these ideas home, you shared some quick success stories, too.
Yeah, these little anecdotes really show the impact.
First up was Sarah, the data detective. Noticed her water bill spiked. Installed smart water meters. Boom, found a hidden leak. Saved hundreds a month.
Right. Shows how basic data monitoring can stop you literally pouring money down the drain.
Then there was Mike with the Collaboration Hub office, facing vacancies from remote work.
Yeah, instead of despairing.
He converted empty floors into flexible meeting rooms, co-working spots, even a podcast studio.
Generating completely new income streams. Shows you've got to adapt, right?
Definitely. Adapt or get left behind. And finally, Linda, the tech-savvy owner. Simple change. Online rent payments.
Seems small, but the impact. Faster payments, more reliable cash flow. Way less admin hassle for her.
Exactly. Small tech change, big efficiency gain.
So building on that, another practical step for listeners, actually ask your tenants, what would make their lives better? What do they need? Better Wi-Fi, more meeting space, secure package lockers. Their feedback can be your innovation roadmap.
That's great advice. Those examples really show this isn't just theory. People are doing this stuff and it's working.
It really is. So just to recap the key takeaways from this deep dive.
Go for it.
We've seen how smart tech, using data smartly and getting creative with space, they're all transforming CRE. The goal is boosting profit and keeping occupancy high, even when things are changing fast.
And crucially, you don't have to do everything at once, right?
Not at all. The sources suggest starting small. Try things out, almost like experiments. See what works for your specific building and your tenants, then build on that.
It's about adopting a fresh perspective, maybe. Seeing your property not just as bricks and mortar, but as a dynamic space.
Exactly. And really tuning into what your tenants need now and what they might need next. That engagement is key.
Okay, so as we wrap up, here's a final thought for everyone listening to chew on after this discussion. Given how fast tenant needs are changing and how quickly tech evolves, what's one really unconventional idea you could explore for your own commercial property? Something maybe a bit outside the box to unlock some hidden value.
Ooh, good question. Something to really ponder.